Hey guys, welcome to Code Decode. In today's video, we are going to see the implementation of stacks and queues in Java. So let's get started. So what is a stack? Stack is a linear data structure, which means that the data is stored one after another in a sequence. At one time, only one item from the stack can be accessed. The item that can be accessed is at the top. All the other elements in the stack are not accessible. Stack is a last in first out data structure, which means that the last element to go inside the stack will be the first element to get out of the stack. Here are some examples of stack. On the left, we can see a stack of CDs, and on the right, we can see a stack of plates. As it is evident from the pictures that we can just remove the top element from the stack. All the other elements can be removed only if the elements above it are removed. So there are three main operations that are supported by stack. The first one is the push function. This function will allow the user to add an element into the stack. The pop function will allow the user to remove the top element from the stack and will also return the value of the top element to the user. The isEmpty function will return true if the stack is empty, or else it will return false. That means the isEmpty function returns a boolean response. Now let's see an example. On the left we have a bucket, which is a stack, and on the right side we have few objects. First, if we execute the isEmpty function on this stack, it will return true because the stack is empty. If we execute the push operation by passing the object A, the object A will be added to the stack, and the return value of this function is void, which means nothing is returned from the function. Similarly, if we perform the push operation on object B, the object B is also added to the stack. Now, if we execute the isEmpty function on this stack, it will return false because the stack has a few elements inside it. If we execute the push function by passing the object C as a parameter, the object C will be added to the stack. At last, if we execute the pop function on this stack, the object C is removed from the stack and will be returned to the user. Applications of stack. Stacks can be used in reversing a string, validating parentheses or brackets in an expression, or converting an expression from infix to postfix. Stacks are also used in backtracking algorithms. Different ways to make a stack. So we can utilize the java.util package, which contains list, array, and stack can be used to make a stack, but instead of them we are going to see to make a stack using a linked list. Now let's jump into the coding part. So we are trying to implement a stack which will look somewhat like this. The top element will have a string and will also have a link towards the element which is right under it. So the element that has a string C will have a link to the element which is right under it, which is the element that has string B. So let's first start by creating the node. So this class will contain a string as well as a pointer towards the next element below it. Now first let's create a node which will be at the top, and let's initialize it to null. Now let's first create the isEmpty function. It will return a boolean response. So if the top is null, then it means that there is not a single element in the stack, so we can return true. Else we can return false. Now let's create the function to push an element into the stack. It will return a void, and it will take a string as a parameter. So now let's see the algorithm to push an element into the stack. Let's say the user has passed the string z, and we have to create a node from string z and then add it to the stack. So first we will create a node with string z, and then we will make the element having string z as top, and the previous top will be the old top element. Now after we have assigned these variables, we now have to create a link between the new top and the old top. So to create this link, we can simply do top.next is equal to old top. This will create a link between the element having string z and the element having string c. Now let's code this. First we need to make a new node and assign it to the top. Before that, we need to store the value of the top element into another variable named oldTop. Now we can assign the string that the user has passed to this new top. Now we need to create the link between the new top and the old top. So top.next is equal to old top. We also Okay, now let's see the functionality for popping out an element from the stack. So to pop a element, what we do is that we just assign the top. So let's say we had top here currently. So what we do is that we just assign the top variable to the element right below the top element. So we just need to do top is equal to top.next. And we also have to return the value of the string of the previous top to the user. So first we will store the value of the string. And we will move the top variable one step downwards. Now we can return the string. Now let's create a main function and test out if our stack is working or not.
Today we have some exciting news about Relevel by Unacademy. In last 30 days, loads of people have already registered to Relevel tournament. However, I have got feedback that most of you were not able to because the time was too less to prepare and wanted to take the test at a later date. So Relevel has again opened up the registration, but this time they will conduct tests rather than tournaments. The best part is all the test rounds will be completed in one single day. Slot starts from 10th of July. However, you can register right now and get an early access to the slots. The benefits of free level is that over 50 plus companies are there as a startups. 1,000 plus jobs are there for business development, front end and back end development, and you can take these online tests completely at the comfort of your home. The best part now they have done is that you will get 100% refund if you get the job through relevel. The choice is also yours the day, and you can get the relevel score within 24 hours. This is the fastest test result I've ever seen. Once you have cleared the test, you will be able to create an amazing candidate profile, which you will be able to showcase your skills and stand out to the crowd. Then you will ask me how to register. So the link is given in the description below. You can register by paying just 1799 instead of 1999. The code discount code will be given in the description below again. Once you register, the slots will be open to you. You can take the test according to your date choose. Once you receive the re-level score, create your profile. The process will be guided to you completely. Sit back and relax. Company will come to you, reach out to you based on your profile, and the better your re-level score, the more companies will reach out to you. Additional thing is this test is only for the candidates who are 18 plus and having the experience of less than 3 years. You should be able to join within 30 days from receiving the job.
First, let's create a variable stack and name it my stack. Let's first check if the isEmpty function is working or not. Let's try and run this code. As we can see, it displays true, which means that the stack is currently empty. Now let's add some elements into the stack. Now we are adding first string A to the stack, then string B, and then string C. As we add string C at the last, the string C would be at the top of the stack. So when we pop the element from the stack, the string C will be returned. And before that, we also execute the isEmpty function. It should print false because the stack is not empty, as it has three elements inside it. As we can see, it is displaying false and string C, which means that our stack is working properly. So what is a queue? Queue is a linear data structure, which means that the data is arranged one after another. At one time, only one item can be accessed from the queue, which is at the front of the queue. All the other elements which are to be added to the queue are inserted from the back of the queue. It is a first in first out data structure, which means that the first element to go inside the queue will be the first element that can be taken out of the queue. Here are some examples of queues. Above we can see a queue of people waiting for something, and in the image below we can see a queue of cars waiting for the signal. As we can see from the images that the first car or the first person to go and stand in the queue will be the first car or person to get out of the queue. Here are the main three operations that can be performed on a queue. The enqueue operation will allow the user to insert an element at the rear end of the queue. The dequeue operation will allow the user to remove the element from the front of the queue, and this function will also return the value that the element holds to the user. The isEmpty function will allow the user to check whether the queue is empty or not. It will return a boolean response that is true or false. Now let's take an example. Let's say there is a traffic signal and there is a lane in front of it. So a lane is like a queue, and we have four cars A, B, C, D. Firstly, if we execute the isEmpty function on this queue, it will return true because currently the queue is empty. Now, if we execute the enqueue operation by passing the car A as the parameter, car A will be added to the queue, and this function will return a void response. After that, if we add car B to the queue by executing the enqueue operation by passing car B as the parameter, this function will also return the void value. If we execute the isEmpty function on this queue, it will return false because the queue has two cars already inside it. If we execute the enqueue operation by passing car C, the car C is also added to the queue. Lastly, if we execute the dequeue operation on the queue, the car in front of the queue, which was car A, will be taken out of the queue, and its value, which it holds, will be returned to the user. Let's see some applications of queue. Queues can be used in task scheduling applications, breadth first search in trees or graphs. They can also be used as buffers in devices like keyboards and email queues. There are some different types of queues. There is simple queue, circular queue, priority queue, and also a double-ended queue. In this video, we are going to see simple queue. There are many different ways to make a queue. We can utilize the java.util package and use libraries like list, array, and queue. But instead of that, we are going to see the implementation of queue using a linked list. Now, let's just jump into the coding part. Let's first start by creating a node class. It will hold a string and will also hold a link to the element just behind it. As we can see in this diagram, here we can see a signal, and on the right we can see cars with string A, string B, and string C inside a queue. The car with string A is at the front of the queue, so it has the value of head, and the string C is at the end of the queue. So firstly, we need to create two variables named head and tail to store the reference to the front of the queue as well as the back of the queue. We will first initialize them to 0 or none. Let's start by first creating the isEmpty function. This will return a boolean response. Now if the head is null, then we can say that the queue is empty. The enqueue function will take a string parameter. This function will add a new node to the end of the queue. Let's see its operation. Let's say the user has passed a string z to us. So first we need to create a link between the node with string c and node with string z. To do this, we can use the operation like tail.next is equal to new node. Then after that we can assign tail.behind, sorry. After that we can assign tail.behind.item as string z. After that we can do tail is equal to tail.behind. The last statement, which is tail is equal to tail.behind, will move the tail from the current tail to the new tail. We also need to check if the head is null or not, because if the head is null, we need to create the first element in the queue. Now we can assign the head.item to string. The tail will also be the head because there is just a single element in the queue. Now let's start creating the dequeue operation. This will return a string response. First we need to check if the queue is empty or not, because if the queue is empty then we can return null to the user. Else if queue is not empty, then we can say that the queue already has a few elements inside it. So to dequeue a element from the queue, we can use the following algorithm. We will just move the head from the current head to the element behind it. This will remove the reference from the previous head and thus it will be destroyed. And the new head will be the element just behind the previous head. To do this, we can use a statement like this. But first we also need to store the string value that the previous head had so that we can return it to the user. Let's start by creating an instance of our queue class. Let's first see if the queue is empty or not. As we can see, it is printing out true, which is correct because currently the queue is empty. Let's see if we can add some elements to our queue. Now we have added three elements to the queue, which is string A, string B and string C. As we can see that string A will be at the front of the queue, and as string C is inserted at the last, it will be at the end of the queue. After these three operations, if we execute the isEmpty function, it will return false because the queue has three elements inside it. After that, if we execute the dequeue operation, it should return the value of string A as the node with string A was at the front of the queue. As we can see, we got the desired output.